Well, it was one of those situations where the entire panel here at Cricbuzz Live felt the match would go one way. It went absolutely the other. Always makes for talking points. This is what happened. 178 for 6 didn't look like it was enough after Rajasthan won the toss, decided to bat first. No one got a half century. They could have got 200, didn't get anywhere close. Lucknow, well, they had everything to chase it down. And I think even 154 for 8 looks a little more than they were destined to get towards the end. What it does mean, and we'll talk about that in a moment after we meet our expert panel on Cricbuzz Live, because we'll talk about the movement in the points table. Lisa and Shaun join us. Shaun, I'm going to come straight to you because what it's done, keeping them under 159, not only is the little 14 pack thrown out the window, it now means Rajasthan go to number 2.
Yeah, it's a huge moment for them in the game. I mean, that's obvious in the tournament now. They wanted to get that win. I would have thought they would have qualified a long time ago, to be totally honest, but they've lost a bit of form and things haven't really gone according to plan. But yeah, some great character showing at the back end. I didn't think they had enough. They set the tone up front. I thought Bowles and Prashi Krishna were fantastic. You know, for every 20 runs they didn't get, that first 6 overs meant that they were more than ahead of the game. Rahul had to absorb for quite a few overs. He was 4 off 16, I think it was, before he hit that 6. And at that stage, they were going to have to play something special. And we've seen so far in the tournament, it's all 6 occasions that Quinton de Kock or Rahul haven't got a score. They've ended up losing the game. So, yeah, credit's got to go to Rajasthan. They had their backs against the wall, didn't have enough, according to me and according to most of us, but they showed some immense character.
Yeah, 5 to be exact. It was 5 occasions when both of them didn't score, and they've lost all 5. But it's a 100% record, and I think that makes.
But this is the 6th.
No, this is the 5th.
No, this is the 5th.
Okay.
But either
it
way,
might be the 6th.
Point well made. Point well made. 100% record, and it just shows their reliance on that. Just like we were talking about in the opposition, reliance on Butler. Butler failed. They still got the points. They won by a good enough margin to jump over Lucknow in net run rate. And that opens up a very interesting scenario because you have to say Rajasthan and Lucknow now virtually through. Are we now all fighting for one place, Lisa?
It looks like it, doesn't it? And Delhi and Punjab probably are the sitting in front because they've still got 2 games to go, whereas Kolkata and Bangalore only have 1. So, yeah, it's getting pretty tight now, and there's a lot of teams just vying for that one spot. But, you know, credit to Rajasthan. I thought, as Polly was saying, the front 6 really caused a lot of problems for Lucknow. And again, their batting order is so wrong. I mean, to send in Badoni at number 3 to face Bolt just didn't look good. You know, he goes first ball, they get 2 wickets in 2 balls. That just gives Rajasthan such a big lift. And then you're still keeping Stoinis down. It does baffle me. You know, Deepak Huda did well, but they were celebrating his 50 like he'd won the match. And I was like, hang on, there's still a lot of the game still to go. So, yeah, I think Lucknow should be a little bit worried, you know, going into the finals. They're not playing, they've almost forgotten how to play and win cricket.
And now that you've said that, Shaun, I'll bring you in. We'll get the points table back up. Which is a more likely scenario for you right now? Top 3 try and consolidate themselves and everyone fights one spot, or does everyone creep up onto 16 and it's all about net run rate? Because if Kolkata beat Lucknow and beat them well, and they've got a rivalry, both Kolkata owners, then Lucknow could have a lesser net run rate and they could be even thinking of going out.
Okay, well, let's have a look at it. Isn't it Punjab play Delhi, right?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, so that means one of them can't get to 16. So it would be Delhi that the side that I think that, or both of them have got just over positive, not their greatest net run rate. Obviously, if Bangalore win their game, they can go to 16, and Kolkata can't get to 16. So, yeah, I think it is the 16. The person who gets to the 16 with the positive net run rate is going through. I don't think Lucknow can lose a game as badly to make sure that their net run rate comes all the way down. It'd be very surprising. In many ways, they can actually play just to make sure they don't damage their net run rate to make sure that they qualify. So, yeah, a couple of sides basically put out of it, and a couple of sides tomorrow, down to a case in point where, forget quarterfinal, it's basically a knockout.
What is likely to happen, though, Lisa, as we just end off on Lucknow, is that, yeah, I mean, maybe it being eliminated is far-fetched, but that top two that we were talking about, had they won today, it was already Gujarat Lucknow in that first game. That is crucial for them.
Yeah, it is. You want to. It's their first finals as well. That will be the exciting factor for them. A new franchise come in straight away into the finals, but there'll be some players that will be experiencing it for the first time. So you kind of want that buffer of playing in that 1 and 2, because if you lose, then obviously you play the winner of 3 and 4. So it gives you a second chance. Whereas you don't really want to do the 3 and 4 and go straight into the knockout. You just want a little bit of a buffer. And now they've got to fight really hard to get there again. I mean, it was there for the taking. But they just haven't been able to do the job in the last couple of games.
I think they'll have to look up. I think it's been unanimous wherever you look. Many teams, it's about individuals, fix this, fix that. Who are you getting into the 11? Why have you let so-and-so sit on the bench? But I think, Shaun, we've all been unanimous in Lucknow's. You're fine with the 11 that's on the park. Just put this piece here, put that piece here. Make sure every piece is fitting the puzzle. It's right there in front.
Yeah, I suppose in all honesty, the only real disappointment for me would have probably been the batting performance of Stoinis and maybe even Jason Holder. I think they're capable of more. If you look at Badoni, maybe he's only capable of a certain standard, but we've seen those two internationals and we've seen bits and splits of them too. Like we saw Stoinis hit 3 sixes back to back. We saw him hit a couple there tonight. But I think they would have been expecting a more consistent performance from him. And you get the feeling that he's more capable of. The Holders in the same boat. We've seen him get test hundreds and play some wonderful one-day international knocks. When they've bought those two all-rounders, they think that they're going to give them the depth. And they probably haven't given them the depth they were after as yet. They sneak through and those guys come good, then everything looks really good.
But Polly, do you think they're batting in the right position, both Stoinis and Holden? I just get a sense that I think they need a little bit more time. I don't think Stoinis is a Russell that comes in, the 16th over and goes big. I think he's a better cricketer than that.
Yeah, I don't think he's a one-trick pony. I agree with you. I think he's capable of knocking it around and picking up boundaries with orthodox shots. But it is the kind of plan that they've gone with him. So in that role, I just feel that even that is probably not his best role. I still think he could have given them more. But I do agree with you. If you get him in slightly earlier, and it's definitely worth a go, isn't it? Badoni hasn't really hit his straps. I mean, Huda's been good, but it might be worth a try.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 seems settled if you put Huda in there. And if Stoinis is going to get further up the order, why not Jason Holder as well? You've made the point about Stoinis not being a one-trick pony. Jason Holder too. I mean, you talk about those test innings. If it's Stoinis 4, why not Holder 5? The other way around, maybe, Lisa.
Yeah. I think they need to utilize their experience and bring them up. I think they're trying to give themselves the depth. But I think a Krunal Pandya, you look at when he played well for Mumbai, he was coming in a lot later and kind of providing the fireworks. If you want to kind of float Badoni between Stoinis and Holder, and have that young guy with two serious international players, all-rounders, that makes sense as well for the long-term prospect of Badoni. But I just think having him at 3 and messing around Deepak Huda, who has been going well in that 3 position. I know he got another 59, but just go a little bit earlier, because if you lose 2 quick wickets, it just gives the momentum to the opposition. They're up and about. There's a lot more chatter. There's a lot more movement in the field, and there's a sense of, we can do this, and that's exactly what Rajasthan felt with that Trent Boult over.
So lots of positives for Trent Boult. Also, you'd have to say at a stage like this, The bowlers contributing, Trent Bolt, obviously, with those 2 wickets that were crucial. Yuzvendra Chahal, like Bishnoi, coming back. I mean, yes, he got hit for a few, but the wicket he got was at a crucial time. It was a crucial player. Samson took about 14 tries to get the stumping done. But at the end of the day, they got it done. And it was job done for everyone. Every one of the bowlers got a wicket. And Shaun, quick word on their fielding. What about that effort from Butler?
Yeah, I mean, it's top class. I mean, he's a real energy in the field as well. And thinking that he spends most of his time with the gloves on, he can definitely do the other role. But those 5 bowlers, when we saw them at the start of the tournament, we thought to ourselves, gosh, that's a good unit. And they're going to be really effective. And that's been the luxury in many ways for Samson, is that he hasn't really had to even try the 6th. Yes, every once in a while he throws an over to someone, but they take the responsibility on. And that's a fantastic position to be, because as a captain, he's still got other options, but he basically never has to try them, because they, a bit like the postman, they always deliver.
In fact, today was probably, we talked about it in Cricbuzz Combox, it was probably a day when some captains might have said, Yuzi, deep fine leg, but Samson went straight to him and said, I'm giving you 4 overs, take the ball, you can do it for me.
Yeah, a complete opposite to what we saw with Lucknow, didn't we? 8 bowlers used for Lucknow, only 5 for Rajasthan. And you felt for Holder, who bowled well in the first innings. He didn't get to bowl his overs out. So sometimes when you're spoilt for choices, you just start to go through the list. But when you know you've got good top quality bowlers, 5 bowlers that can do the job, yeah, okay, it's T20 cricket. They're allowed to get hit. A batter's allowed to get on top of you. And if you miss your line and length, you do deserve to go to the boundary. But a bowler is allowed to fight back. So that's good captaincy from Sanju Samson.
And throw in the name of Riyan Parag there. I mean, he just seems to have a bit of a swag in the field, Shaun. I mean, even he got a few runs today, but he's not bowling his very unique stuff at the moment. But every time he's in the field, he seems to pull out the catches, even the one that was disallowed.
I think that's the understatement of the tournament, that he's got a bit of a swag. He's got a massive swagger. He's got the potential to rub a few of the opposition up the wrong way as well. But you can't fault him. What's he taken? 13 catches now in the tournament, and
the most by any fielder who's not a keeper.
Yeah, so nearly pulled off another remarkable one. And that also just shows you, often you talk about fielders being able to see or know whether they've taken the catch and got their fingers underneath it. I think technology has shown us that a lot of the times you see the guys' hands down and the heads up, and they feel like they've grabbed hold of it. So I think it's been a good addition, because you don't want to, imagine that game goes down to that kind of catch and he's claimed it and then it's shown to be not out. So I think the technology does wonders just to make sure relations between teams stay in a good way. Some of his antics might not get the team reacting in the same way.
I wonder if the way he reacted after his second catch will have the third umpire going, that's a little naughty, because he took it. It was a comfortable catch. Then he took the ball close to the ground and said, no, I caught that. That should be out.
Yeah. That's the cheekiness that Polly's talking about. That just might rub the opposition the wrong way, where you just feel like going, mate, just take the catch, celebrate that. Don't carry on, as I would say, like a pork chop. Just get on with it. So he's going to have to be careful, because, one good thing is you'll get found out in this IPL, and you don't want to come up against some of the big players.
Can you run that one by me again? Carry on like a pork chop.
Yeah. So
how? Why? Explain that.
I don't understand. I don't understand sayings, but you carry on like a... carry on.
Or maybe a pork chop, when you cook a pork chop, every once in a while they've got a hole in it. It like spits stuff out. Causes a bit of trouble.
Shaun's trying to come to your rescue, Lisa.
Thanks, Polly. That's
there you
good.
go, Lisa. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Now you've got me in the mood for a good braai, Shaun.
That'll be boerewors, not pork chop.
Fair enough. It's a bit of everything. We've had so many there. Let's not get there. It's hunger time. Let's instead talk about celebrating an individual who had great impact into the match, and that would be our Omnigel relief and recovery performer of the match. Omnigel, India's #1 pain recovery gel brand, not only gives quick relief but also recovery from pain, which equals no dud for fans. And what a performance it was. Very steady. The studious Ravichandran Ashwin, 4 overs, 1 for 24. And of course, every time he keeps contributing with the bat. But today, he just seemed to have it in his eyes, Lisa, when he came into bowl. And he obviously did the job. Looked like he was in control.
Yeah, who comes up with this one? I've thought Trent Boult might have, snuck in there, but Ashwin got it. I mean, look, he is so effective. He is a clever bowler. He keeps adding to his armoury, coming from that certain angle, albeit he was moving the umpire to get him in the exact position as well. Excuse me, umpire, just this much forward, please. But yeah, he's always coming up with different ways of just making you stop as a batter and go, what's coming? And the ball's moving enough either way just to cause a few problems, but very economical.
Yeah, interesting action that is shown. I mean, the reason why he wanted the umpire a couple of steps forward is because he wants to come as close to the umpire and then suddenly appear.
Yeah, I mean, he's got lots of tricks, and you got to just respect his skills. To come from different angles and operate with different deliveries. He's a fantastic bowler, and I just feel like he hasn't picked up the wickets he probably could have. He had a few unlucky breaks today where misfields let the ball go to the boundary, so it could have even been more economical. But he's a very valuable cog in their performance. Personally, I would have given the Omnigel to McCoy. He's the one who needs it. He's the one who's cramping up. And he needs up space at this moment.
We should actually give it to the ones that hobble off. Or Trent Boult, he went off as well with some eye or neck or something.
Oh, maybe they can share it around once. I mean, just like a man of the match award is shared. So I'm sure the Omnigel can be shared around. So we've given it to Ashwin. He's generous. He'll go around the team room, get Obaid McCoy in, get Trent Boult in, and the three of them can share it around. But I think Ashwin's performance has very deservedly got him the relief and recovery performer of the match. He ensured that there was no dud for the Rajasthan fans. 4 overs, 1 for 24, and of course, a little bit of a cameo, 10 of 7. But overall, a good team effort from Rajasthan, getting them into second place, and everything now will be looking ahead to the Monday night clash. It's going to be a big one because this is one of those clashes that is going to ensure that only one of the two teams can make it to 16 points. Before today's result, it might have been different, but match number 64 from the DY Patil Stadium is going to be, well, almost a do or die encounter, Lisa.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Both teams have really got one last chance, one roll of the dice to get everything right. And it's funny because it's the two teams that have literally gone win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. And I think Delhi are expected to lose based on that. And maybe I think Punjab are expected to win. So there you go. There's a preview. We're done.
Shaun would love that.
Result confirmed. Yeah, Monday madness. It's going to be all on the block on Monday, and it's that time of the tournament. Eventually you face it, whether it be in the knockouts or just before the knockouts. It gets down to a point where you have to win a vital game in order to continue your life in the tournament, and that's what it's got down to for these two teams. So it's an important game, and we'll see who can handle the pressure the best.
Yep, as we said, to sum it up, only one of these two, Delhi and Punjab, can get to 16. The winner gets to 14 with an option of 16. The loser stays on 12 with a maximum of 14. That, at this stage, doesn't look as if it can take them through. So it could even be a knockout fixture effectively. Let's look at Delhi first, because both teams have not really managed to put a string of victories together. Delhi will want to start, not a bad place to start in a knockout game. In terms of the 11, there was a little bit of bad news for them a couple of matches ago. Prithvi Shaw taken ill. How crucial will he be, Shaun, to his absence be to them?
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, but it's gone at the top of the order and hasn't been able to perform in two of the games, which is meaning they're continually getting off to a bad start, whereas we've seen on countless occasions throughout the IPL, particularly through Prithvi Shaw's career, or fantastic fast starts. So that's not ideal. It's almost like you're going to, or they've got the feeling that they're going to be one down after 2 or 3 overs, and then the pressure gets onto the other guys. But on the other positive side, Mitchell Marsh seems to have found his feet, and I think that's an important investment for them going forward. He's a good player and he comes in at an important time. So now that he's got his confidence up, they'll be hoping for continued good performances.
And Mitch Marsh is doing two things. He's, of course, making up for the lack of the start from Prithvi Shaw and contributing with the ball, Lisa.
Yeah, and when Mitch Marsh is bowling well, that's good signs for him. You know, I think he's the type of player that loves to contribute in both facets, and obviously Delhi feel that that's a role that he can actually be able to play an important part in their performance. So fingers crossed for him that he continues his kind of form. But yeah, I mean, you look at Delhi and they could make it maybe one change. I mean, Chetan Sakaria has bowled well, but, you know, could they bring in Nagakoti, Khalil Ahmed? You know, there's some opportunities there depending on the pitch. I mean, Sakaria did well. I think he picked up maybe 2 wickets the last game. So, you know, they may not make a change from a bowling perspective, but, you know, Axar Patel back in, Lalit Yadav back in, just strengthens it. And hopefully if Delhi can get through to the finals, we may see Prithvi Shaw, because he has been discharged from the hospital.
Yeah, I think Khalil Ahmed, the only issue was a hamstring. If it's fixed, he walks straight back in. That's the only consideration for Delhi. But Sakaria has been a good enough replacement, and obviously no possible look-in for Lungisani and Giri at this stage. So he'll have to wait. He'll have to be part of that 11 that we've been creating of overseas players who haven't played a game yet. It was a very, very well-balanced 11. Maybe we'll put it out there and share it for you. The only change from that team is that Patirana is now out of that team because he played earlier. Well, we've got a second team to look at, Punjab. Shaun, no real personnel possibilities for Delhi, but what about Punjab? They've just made a couple of little tinkerings towards the latter half, but what they've got sorted, Johnny Bairstow at the top.
Yeah, Johnny's firing. Livingston's found some good form. I can't see them making any changes personally. You know, when you look around at this stage, it's so difficult to go into the reserves because what form have they got to talk of? So I think in many ways, your team's got you into this situation. Trust the same unit to try and get you out of it and try and get you over the line into qualification. It doesn't seem to make sense looking at those lists for them to make a change now.
The one call they had to take, of course, to get Johnny Bairstow up there was to separate a tried and tested combo of Shikhar Dhawan, Mayank Agarwal. But because the captain wasn't delivering, also had to sit out one game with injury, I think Mayank as captain is happy to take the call and say, look, I'll just pad up and wait whenever it's my turn.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the first time when he started to slide down the order, he didn't come into bat. Then I think he came in at 3 or 4, and then a little bit later, I think 5 as well. So he's happy to go in based on the situation. And maybe that's what you need. You need a guy who understands that he's not firing. Johnny Bairstow, you know, we spoke about it, that his numbers in IPL opening the batting are outstanding. And the first game he did it didn't work necessarily, but he's too much of a class player, and we saw that at Brabant Stadium against Bangalore. He went big. He was the deciding factor, and Liam Livingstone joined in the party. So you feel that they're a more settled lineup with Johnny Bairstow at the top.
And add Bhanuka Rajapaksa to that mix. Jitesh Sharma gets a bit of form in there, their bowling attack, and you could really think of the North India battle, the North India derby, as being quite a bit of Monday madness, as Shaun Pollock said. It's a fixture that is really one of the sumptuous fixtures in this back half of the tournament. So much stake there, but there's also a lot at stake for all you fans out there, all you quiz fiends out there who like to pounce on Joy's questions, try and answer them in 2.5 seconds flat. And I wonder what's happened with this one today. This is the question we put out earlier. Which cricketer got his nickname because of his resemblance to a legendary NBL player? And let's give you the answer. And, well, it's a very topical question. It's a very poignantly topical question. Andrew Simons, Roy from Leroy Loggins, and there you have it. Also played Aussie Rules football. So lots of connections there. And I think for those who know Joy, know there's always something topical. And today didn't start well with that news. But who was the one who spotted that first? Obviously keeping up with everything that's happening. And looks like we have a new name in Burzin Kohina. P. Kohina. We love it. We love new names. Welcome to the fold. Keep it coming. And some of our regular quizzes, I can promise you, if you jump on Twitter, they're not very happy. Even if they get ousted by a few seconds, and I think the person I'm talking about, probably listening, knows what I'm talking about. Chill, man. It's all right. It's only a game. But to some, quizzing is life. To some, quizzing is life. Also, if Joy, if you love the stuff that he puts out there on the quizzing, Retro Reels is also there on Cricbuzz Plus. Get in there. New episodes keep coming. And Joy's got something new coming up on Cricbuzz Plus. And just in case you enjoyed him on Cricbuzz Plus, on the Sunday match party, it'll be back next Sunday again for both the doubleheader games. Well, that's all we have time for here. We've got just enough to say thank you to Lisa, thank you to Shaun, and to all of you for joining us. We'll see you soon for some Monday madness. That's all from Cricbuzz Live.